Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving headfirst into the fascinating world of the Toshiba Visicom COM-100, a quirky, colorful console from 1978. Think RCA Studio 2, but with a Japanese twist, and, dare I say it, a splash of color.
Ooh, color in 1978? That's impressive. Was it a standard color system or something more unique?
Oh, it was definitely unique. Completely different from the standard CDP-1862 chip. Toshiba went rogue, creating their own four-color system: dark green, red, blue, and yellow. Imagine the creative limitations.
4 colors? That's surprisingly limiting. How did that affect the games?
Well, the games themselves were largely clones of the RCA Studio 2 titles. Bowling, car race, the works, but with the added bonus of color. The interesting part is how they handled color collisions. In the RCA version, overlapping sprites would cancel each other out using XOR, but in the Visicom, they cleverly used yellow as the overlap color. Ingenious.
So a simple yet effective solution. What about the hardware itself? Was it a significant departure from the RCA design?
The Visicom was a real looker. Sleek silver and black plastic, a far cry from the RCA's more utilitarian design. They kept the manual reset button, but the controllers were detachable, though they attached in a rather unconventional way. They just snapped onto the joypads, pushing the buttons. Not exactly ergonomic.
Sounds a bit primitive. Did the improved memory affect the games?
Absolutely. The Visicom doubled the frame buffer size to 512 bytes, which was a big deal, and the memory map was much more organized than the RCA's, making development simpler. They even used the same pseudo-assembly bytecode, but with adjusted addresses. Clever, right?
I see. So the games themselves were essentially ports, but with the color upgrade. Were there any original titles?
There were a few. The cartridges, limited to 2 kilobytes, often bundled multiple games. One notable cartridge, Sportsfan, included a baseball game, a fairly standard port, but also a sumo wrestling game, which is supposedly one of the earliest known sumo wrestling video games. Pretty cool.
Sumo wrestling in 1978? That's a fascinating detail. What about the other cartridges?
Another interesting cartridge was Gambler 2, a slot machine game. Initially, I thought it was odd because it used Western-style slot machine rules, not the skill stop style common in Japan today. But then I remembered, this was 1978. Skill stop hadn't taken off yet. It also included a dice game, which, I still don't fully understand.
So a bit of a mixed bag, but still historically significant. How did the Visicom fare commercially?
It was more expensive than its competitors, like Nintendo's Color TV game series. While it did gain some traction among enthusiasts, who even figured out how to connect it to Toshiba's EX80 computer kit, it wasn't a massive commercial success, a niche classic perhaps.
A fascinating look at a forgotten piece of gaming history. Thanks for shedding light on this unique console.
My pleasure. And that's all the time we have for today's Tech Bytes and News. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.